Aston Villa have got their man in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and a lot of people are questioning this deal. But that is because a lot of people don't understand Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, one of the opinions that I've always had on Wan-Bissaka is, by the general football fan, I believe he's overrated for his defensive capabilities. But then at the same time, I also believe he's underrated in terms of how he's viewed going forward. And I'll explain that statement throughout this video. But let's start by talking about last season first. A season where Wan-Bissaka really struggled. And you guys saw some of his performances on the football pitch last year. Nowhere near the level that we normally expect from Wan-Bissaka. Of course, it wasn't helped by the club that he was at. West Ham got relegated. It was a really bad year for them. And listen, it is what it is. But last season is gone now. And you guys saw the numbers that he put up last season from a defensive point of view. Is this really a true reflection of Wan-Bissaka's game? Let's be honest, the answer to that question is no. These same defensive numbers from the year before that, a lot better. And this is kind of, let's say, the general standard of Wan-Bissaka. Last season was not that. But why did I say I think he's slightly overrated from a defensive point of view? In my personal opinion, when it comes to locking down an attacking player, in terms of a 1v1 battle, Wan-Bissaka is one of the best in the world at that. You won't find many defenders that can do what he can. But then there's certain aspects of his defensive game that frustrate the living day out of me. One of them being his ability to defend the back post. There's so many times where you will concede a goal, or Aston Villa will concede a goal now, and you'll just be looking at Wan-Bissaka and thinking, back post, where is he? Like, it's been a consistent issue in his game for many years. And I know Aston Villa fans get frustrated with Matty Cash, who also has a similar issue. For them, Wan-Bissaka has the same issue. That is something that Aston Villa fans are just going to have to be aware of. And maybe, you never know, Unai Emery could, let's say, work on that with him. Another area that I believe he has to work on is just his overall positioning at times, especially on the transition. There will be times where Aston Villa will concede a goal, or West Ham, Manchester United have conceded goals in the past, and you're just looking on it, especially on the transition, where is Wan-Bissaka? At times, it just feels like he jogs back a bit too nonchalant in terms of the way his defensive work is. It is slightly frustrating at times, but overall, he's a very competent defender, but I just don't believe he's as good as what the general football fan makes out. And that's not me saying he's a bad defender. But when we're talking about Wan-Bissaka going forward, I feel like people have an idea of Wan-Bissaka where he offers nothing in the final third. He offers nothing in build-up. And I just disagree with it completely. Like I said, last season, you guys can see his progressive numbers. Not a true reflection of his game. The season before that, these same metrics, you guys can see. Look how high his dribble numbers actually are for fullbacks in Europe. He's in the top percentiles for that category. Also, just look at the general ball progression numbers. You guys can see progressive carries. He's a decent carrier of the ball. Wan-Bissaka just has that trait where he's just not pleasing on the eye. But in terms of his efficiency, in terms of progressing the ball, especially with him carrying it, it's not too bad. And I just don't think he gets enough credit for this aspect of his game just because of his aesthetics on the ball. Now, the reason why this signing is so important is that it provides competition at right back and gives Aston Villa extra depth. For example, so many times last season, we saw Matty Cash might have needed the rest, and we would see Ezri Konsa play right back. Now, I don't think Villa fans want to see that, and this is my personal opinion. I believe Ezri Konsa is one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. Don't kill me, guys. I'm not an Aston Villa fan. This is not club bias. I just rate him extremely highly. And realistically, you want him in his favoured position. Wan-Bissaka now provides Matty Cash depth and gives Villa an extra option. And to be honest, I believe he can compete with Matty Cash, even though I still expect Matty Cash to be number one. You guys can see this graphic on the screen here, which looks at the defensive numbers last season in the Premier League. You guys can see Wan-Bissaka wins in a lot of categories when it comes up against Matty Cash, which is probably something you would expect. Now, hopefully you guys are enjoying this video, and if you guys are, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. But I want you guys to see the more attacking numbers between these two. And Matty Cash beats him in every single category, as you might expect. But look at these numbers a bit closer. Wan-Bissaka, for example, for expected assists, 0.07. Matty Cash 0.08 is not a big difference. Passes to the final third, Wan-Bissaka 4.06. Matty Cash 4.37. These numbers are not too bad from a Wan-Bissaka point of view, considering the fact that he played for a very negative side in West Ham last year, and he's probably in less threatening actions than Matty Cash in the final third, for example, or in terms of actually getting on the ball and progressing play. Give Wan-Bissaka some leeway in this aspect of his game, guys, because I actually believe he will be a very good signing for Aston Villa. And like I always say, if Unai Emery wants a player, he will probably work out, because Unai Emery is one of the best managers in the world at just getting the extra little 10% out of a play. He can just do it. And Wan-Bissaka, he's a very competent player. Like I said, last season was not a true reflection of his game. I've seen the negative reaction by some Villa fans and some football fans to the signing. I just don't agree with it, guys. Understand what this signing brings for Aston Villa, and I think Aston Villa fans will be very, let's say, content with this signing at the very least. In my personal opinion, I like it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like and let me know down below your opinion on this signing.